Hi friends, and welcome to the channel. This is a little sliver of time and space where I enjoy sharing my insights. And today, I'm talking about when things don't go well, when things aren't working. So I'm calling it, what if things aren't working well? It's like that relationship moment when your mate comes to you and says, "This isn't working." So stick around, and we're going to discuss that perception that things aren't working. It's easy to think that nothing's really working in your life. I know. It's easy to adopt that worldview that nothing's going right. But you have to get into the judgment mindset that believes that to be the case. And to me, when we sit in nature, and I don't care how simple it is, even just in the presence of a tree or in a park or at the beach, the key is to dim down the noise. And turn up the underlying non-resistant peace that flows in the substantive rather than the superficial. And so much can be learned by observing how messy, and I say messy in the best and most loving way, how messy nature is. Nature is progressing fine, you know. It's wonderful to watch it. But we have a tendency to want to fix it, you know? Because a lot of times nature, if left alone, will progress in weird ways, doesn't it? It doesn't rain when you want it to. Or it's raining too much. Or it's not the right temperature, not the right humidity. Or you don't like the way your dog is handling her puppy. It's too rough. Or you don't like the way nature dies. You know, we don't like that. We don't like that nature dies. Or that it gets thirsty. Or that it doesn't provide and things wither. We question the timing too. And sometimes in nature, things happen out of sequence, you know? It's a bit like, if you watch those nature PBS specials, you want to reach out and help nature, you know? Like, seems like the mother who abandons her calf. Man, that shouldn't be the case. Or that those poor animals in the Sahara, they haven't seen rain and they're parched and they're fighting and they're scrambling for limited resources. You want to go and how can we help this? And so we struggle with this down here in Florida. I call it the hurricane dodgeball. That we blow away the hurricane. Oh, God, don't come to my house. Don't knock it down. And we beg and we plead, we beg and we plead, and we ask. But to me, nature does not hear that. Nature is notoriously blind to those kinds of rain dances, interference. And when we claim victory over it, it's interesting. We get on our knees and we say, "Oh God, don't bring that hurricane to my house." And just as that prayer is said, the hurricane goes to your neighbors in the south. Oh well. Those people didn't pray hard enough. So now my God listens to me and their God ignores them. And so we see why throughout history the "my God is better than your God" has played itself out over and over again. And we saw this in when the Europeans came here and settled into the Americas. The natives lost their faith because the Europeans were bringing scurvy and black plague and all sorts of disease that came from living in high density areas, and the natives were living in sparsely populated areas, and their immune systems were helpless. So this perception of the European monarch, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, developed in the West. So we have this worldview that God is a king. But the hurricane bows to no one. The rain is not called upon. The drought is going to last as long as the drought lasts. But this is the nature of nature. She seems to be completely blind, deaf, dumb, non-linear, rough around the edges, messy, unpredictable, yet incredibly successful and extremely productive, and never really in a hurry to produce anything, despite your begging and pleading. But substantially, it works. And so we have this perception that our life is not working. And I'm not sure we can keep it from working. Because even the most skeptical human being is producing all sorts of stuff. It's amazing what nature produces through a human, even of the most fearful, rushed, unaware person. So it never seems to be encumbered. Yet, we think it to be messy. And see, progress is never linear like that. That's what's so interesting. And you can sense this in your own life. If you've tried to learn a skill, say play a musical instrument or whatever, it feels like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And then one day, all of a sudden. So, your love life might be a mess. Your finances might be a mess. Your health might be a mess. But in that mess comes the nature of nature. Just, it is working. Despite it looking rough, meandering, not working. It's perfect. It may not be raining, and the crops need rain. There may be a famine, and there's nothing in the ground growing right now. But you've been through it. That's the thing. All of these funny rough edges, these loose ends, mysteriously tie themselves together, but not the way you want it to. Nature never complies with your plans. One of my favorite jokes is, if you want to make God laugh, tell her your plans. This is what's funny, is that so often the best things that happen to us are the ones where we just throw up our hands and say, well, okay. You have to trust the nature of nature. It doesn't look pretty when Mama Bear slings her cub around or does something. We might not like that. Or that there's no rain, or it's too hot, or something. But you have to learn to trust in that natural, circuitous, and mysterious flow. And apply that directly to your life. There are a lot of oh shit moments. I know there are. It just looks that way. Nature unfolds in that way. And the mind likes steps, even staircases, linear, constant flow of money in. Never understands the flow of money out, or this idea of in and out of consciousness. So how can I sit there and tell you it's okay? Because I've seen it. I've seen it succeed. I've seen it succeed so incredibly beautifully that I can literally take my hand off of the so-called wheel. And you know what's really weird is that if I leave nature alone, I leave my nature alone, I stop trying to solve it. It like the animals that rough around their offspring or abandon their offspring, it's all part of it. When you kind of see the wholeness of it and the beautiful success rate, despite the so-called ups and downs, it's progressing just fine without your so-called help. We just think that nature needs us. And in a way, she does, but in a co-creative way. In an accepting way. If you can accept how messy it looks, you are completely trusting. You can throw your arms into the circuitous and mysterious way nature does it. And you can apply this to your life, your bills, your finances, your relationships, everything. But you have to be like the person who makes a nature documentary. As much as you'd like to take that baby wildebeest out of the mouth of the crocodile, you cannot interfere. You must trust that the crocodile needs to eat too. And one day, there will be parasites that need to eat your body. There will be worms that will eat your body. Your ashes will be fertilizer for a tree. You will provide. You will return to the dust. And it's a beautiful, complete cycle. And it all does that without our so-called help. So you must resist the urge to interfere. But a lot of people aren't in that trusting mindset. How do we get there? Join me. Look. Listen to how quiet and easy this happens. And yeah, there's some gusty winds, there's some storms, there's stuff. Yeah, I know. We had 2 bad hurricanes here last year, and my yard was cleaned out. It had a freshness to it. It seems nature seems to clean herself out too. They're lean times, but it's all purposeful. It's all essential. And this is yet another talk on leave well enough alone. And that's affluence. That's what abundance is. It's affluence. It's just letting it flow, even if it looks lean. Don't beg for it to rain. The timing is also part of this. The main thing is to not interfere or to fear. Don't interfere and don't fear. This requires utmost trust and observation, like the nature documentary, and see if you can observe yourself like that, wanting to be rushed and urged. Ooh, gotta do something. Nature doesn't do that. She unfolds. And you may get involved in some creative enterprise like me. I'm writing 3 books right now, and they all germinated before the other one stopped. I started my 2nd book before my other one was finished, and now I've started my 3rd book before my 2nd one is finished. It's weird. It doesn't progress linearly. Let it unfold like it does. Don't rush yourself. And when you find yourself in a jam, relax. Nature can get herself out of these jams. It's amazing how resourceful you can be if you don't interfere and be disturbed. Commune with it, observe it, and be just like that. And you'd be surprised at how it unfolds on its own. To me, that's good news. I was beginning to think I had to spin the earth and shine the sun and blow the wind, and I was worn out. So if things aren't going your way, you could be in the way, you know? But yet you are the way if you just back off. And be a little more careful to observe where you might be middling, trying, disturbing. expecting too much, too soon. It takes a keen eye, an alert sense of awareness, and paying attention to the quiet. Then you get a sense that it's working beautifully. And there's no interference, and there's no fear. I hope you enjoyed these insights today. Please check out my blog. It's called MyMorningMotivator.com.